This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Mary Maslowski. I'm the chairperson of the Historic District and Historical Commission for the town of Harwich. Today is Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. It is 6 p.m. and we are calling to order our regular monthly meeting. This meeting is being held via remote participation and no in-person attendance is permitted. This is being done in accordance with the Governor Baker's March 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. If anyone is listening, you are able to dial in using the telephone number at 1-224-501-3412, or you can hyperlink through the agenda hyperlink, which is posted on the town webpage to join the meeting. The meeting number, just for clarification, is 730-149-093. So we will open the meeting with a roll call of the members of the board. So Jean Steiner.
Here.
Julie Eldridge.
Here.
Bob Doan.
Here.
And Brendan Lowney.
Here.
Great. So the first item we have on our agenda this evening is a certificate of non-applicability. It is matter HH 2021-09. And the certificate of non-applicability has been received for 102 Parallel Street, map 41, parcel D7-2 in the C-B zone and the Harwich Center Historic District. The application proposes an interior remodel of a bathroom and a TV room. The application is pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40C, Section 6, and the Code of the Town of Harwich, Chapter 131, Historic Preservation, Article 1. Eric Ditcher and Kim Terwilliger as owners, Josh Drohan of Philbrook Construction as applicant. So, Mr. Drohan, are you on the call tonight, it looks? Great.
Yep, I'm here. Good evening to you and the committee members.
Thank you. Could you introduce yourself for the record and just run us through your application quickly?
Yeah, so I'm Josh from Philbrook Construction, here on behalf of the homeowners at 102 Parallel Street. We're going to be doing a interior bathroom remodel, which will involve changing the interior footprint very slightly. If you had a chance to review the plans, it currently is a small bathroom that has a closet which abuts it on the opposite side of the tub. What we'd like to do is expand that that tub area and make it into a curbless shower and update that bathroom. It's all interior work only. We're not replacing any exterior windows or exterior siding, anything like that. All of the construction will be contained to the inside of the property. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to address them at this time.
Sure. Do any members of the board have questions?
Sure.
Bob Doan.
Yeah, I think the only question, we normally don't have any jurisdiction over the inside interior work in the historic district, but I think there was a question, are you going to have a dumpster there for a period of time and maybe an outhouse? And if so,
Yes,
how long and where will it be positioned?
We'll position it, off the street. We'll try to keep that, out of the way as much as possible. Same with the toilet as well. And it will just be there for the length of the project, which will just be a few months, depending on the the permitting process and demolition and things like that.
Right. Okay, that's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? So looking like nothing from Jean and from Brendan and from Julie Eldridge. So at this point, we are in a public hearing. Is there anyone on the call that wishes to ask any questions or speak in favor or against?
My name is Peter Antelles, and I'm at 100 Parallel Street. I've already spoken to Kim and Eric. I know what's happening. I knew it wasn't going to be exterior. I'm just here in support of their project.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
sir. We did. We appreciate that. If there's no one else that wishes to speak either in favor or against or ask any questions, it would be appropriate to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
So Mr. Doan has made the motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dean Steiner has seconded. All those in favor by a roll call vote. Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Gene Steiner,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
and the chair votes in the affirmative as well, so that carries 5-0. So this is a request for a certificate of non-applicability. So an affirmative motion would be to grant a certificate of non-applicability for the application as presented.
Thank you.
So move on that.
The motion's been made by Mr. Doan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second's been made by Julie Eldridge. All those in favor by a roll call vote. Gene Steiner,
Aye.
Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
and the chair votes in the affirmative. So thank you very much for coming forward.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
So the next matter we have on our agenda is a public hearing for HH 2021-10. It's a certificate of appropriateness, which has been received for 711 Main Street, map 41, parcel D8, in the C-V and the Harwich Center Historic District. The owner applicant proposes a change to the height of the previously approved fence after planning board review. The application is pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40C, Section 6, and the Code of the Town of Harwich, Chapter 131, Historic Preservation, Article 1. Samuel Patel as owner and applicant. Mr. Patel, good evening.
Good evening.
So you're back before us. It looks like you are back before us for a change in the fence.
Yes, so last time I got an approval for 4.5 feet, let's just say 4 feet fence. But this time I'm here with the 6 feet fence. After talking to my neighbors, we concluded that, if I put up a 6-foot fence, it would really do the screening and stop any headlight shines or any other nuisance that can, distract our neighbors. So I already have an approval from the planning board. We have actually already erected the fence because we did not have enough time, and we thought, we had the 4 feet fence approved from you guys. You guys would be fine with the 6-foot fence. So the design and everything is the same. So therefore, we have already erected the fence, and we hope that you guys don't have any problem with that.
Thank you. So just before we turn it over, Mr. Antelles is on the line, and he did submit a letter in support. Mr. Antelles, did you want to speak?
I didn't look at the, excuse me, Madam Chairman, I didn't pull down the package, so I don't know what you have in front of you. But in our letter of support, we tried to emphasize, Susan and I, my wife, and I tried to emphasize that that really is the standard throughout all of Harwich, and including all the properties that are similar in the historic district, of which they're mostly town properties. If there are fences, there are 6-foot fences. And we're just very, very appreciative to Mr. Patel for making this change. It is a significant difference. As I explained to him, and I'll make this brief, as I explained to Mr. Patel verbally, the height of the parking lot where it begins on Main Street is significantly higher than the back of the lot where the parking lot ends. And if there were a 4-foot fence, all of the activity starting at the entranceway, at the curb cut on Main Street, would be visible from our property. It was really significant to have a difference of 2 feet. So we have unqualified support for this project, as you might imagine. So we do appreciate it. And we're sorry for the delays that we caused Mr. Patel in the process, but we do appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for appearing tonight, and we will place your letter from May 10th into the file for the record. Are there any questions from members of the board?
Yep.
Hearing Mr. Doan.
No, I see the fence and it looks great. So I think this is terrific and certainly ready to proceed.
Perfect. If my board members concur, then it would be, assuming there's no one else on the line that wishes to speak from the public, hearing none, then it would be appropriate to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Mr. Doan has made a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Gene Steiner has seconded. All those in favor by an affirmative vote. Gene Steiner,
Aye.
Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
and the chair votes in the affirmative as well. So then the next motion would be on the application for a 6-foot fence. Do we have a motion?
I also move that we approve the height of the 6-foot fence for 711 Main Street.
And is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Gene Steiner,
Aye.
Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
and the chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing the store open.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be opening this Friday, so please come in and
Oh my
take a
gosh.
look inside.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Good
Yes,
luck
we would
with
like
your
to have all of you guys visit our store.
Oh, yeah.
The best
Yeah,
of
you
luck.
guys have put in a lot of input and time into whole process, so we would really appreciate it.
We're looking
Absolutely.
forward. We're looking forward to it. It looks wonderful.
It does.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good luck. Thank you both. The next item on our agenda is a discussion on meeting minutes from April 21st, 2021. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any changes? Anybody have any issues?
Can I just ask Melissa to add my name to the being present?
Absolutely. So with, do we have a motion to approve the minutes with the one amendment to add Julie Eldridge's name to the call to order at the beginning of the meeting? Anybody make that motion?
Also move that we approve the minutes of April 21st with the addition of Julie Eldridge's name as being present.
Is there a second?
Second.
Brenda's made the second. All those in favor, Gene Steiner,
Aye.
Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
and the chair also votes aye. So the minutes are done. Next item on our agenda, I believe, is a discussion about the proposed property record study. Mr. Doan, what would you like to tell us?
Well, I'm afraid I have not done anything more since the last meeting. You know, I don't know if at the meeting, did I talk about how I'd gone over the maps and started putting a spreadsheet of all the potential clusters, which I had started, but I have not completed reviewing all the maps.
I believe we talked about that at CPC and not at Historic.
Okay. Okay. So some progress has been made since historic.
So Bob
So-
is going through the lists and trying to identify some of the appropriate clusters and more significant homes for us to add information to and do the what's the name of the form, Bob?
Oh, the, not MCAST.
The
Yeah.
macros or
Macros.
And hopefully the town of Brewster will share their RFP on doing that work that we can use as a base to get moving forward. I believe at the CPC meeting, Donna Kalanick mentioned that she had done one not too long ago. So so progress is being made.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, Bob, once we kind of have a sense, you had a sense to see what's there, we can certainly talk about it at a meeting and kind of get a consensus, and then we can approach administration about, you know, getting finalizing the procurement process on it, getting on their list.
Right. And so what the process I'm going through is that the maps that were done by Miranda, I'm culling out the one she highlighted some potential areas, and I'm looking for those areas, and I'm identifying with how many houses or buildings are in that little cluster, and then I want to bring those for the whole meeting to look at them. Now, logistically, I don't know how we'll do that because these are maps, and you probably want to look at the maps, and I don't know if we're going to soon be able to meet in person. Do you know of any update on that, Mary?
I haven't heard an update from the town of Harwich as of yet, with the exception that there was a newspaper article saying that they were preparing to reopen town hall. So I suspect it's coming. You know, I don't know if it will be by our June meeting or not, but I do suspect sometime in the relatively near future we'll be able to be back in the building and start meeting in person.
Right.
Because the governor has declared as of the 29th of May that the emergency order is over. So, and that's what governs our ability to meet remotely and vote remotely. So we may in fact have to meet in person by the next meeting, unless he continues some of the provisions.
Right. And if I were to try to reproduce some of the maps, like at Staples, I can pay for that and being reimbursed, or how would that work?
We have a machine at Town Hall that should be able to reproduce those maps. So we should be able to do that in the building department.
Oh, for full-size maps.
Yep. We have a GIS machine and a copy machine that should be able to make those in the engineering office.
Yeah,
so,
I think more importantly, can they scan them so we can have them in PDFs?
Yeah, that's the whole GIS.
Then we could even post them and stuff like that.
So I think from my perspective on that, it'll be to reach out to John Eidman as the planner and the new chair of the community development, and or the town engineer to see if we can get those plans reproduced. So I would say let's see what happens in the next week or so, and when you get to a point that you have plans to get reproduced, then we'll approach the building department, and you know, it may be Joe Powers, it may be Megan Eldridge to deal with all of that for us. But yeah, no, I don't foresee a reason that they couldn't do them at Town Hall. If not, then we'll come up with a plan B and we'll go from there. But
great, thank you.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Bob, for taking the reins and dealing with that, so that we can get it moving. Any other questions or comments? All right. 328 Bank Street. So we did send a letter out requesting, you know, what's going on. I am of the understanding that the building department had told them to, you know, get rid of the temporary fencing. I did not get a response back. A response came back to the town and said, you know, we don't know what you're talking about, essentially. So it is on the John Eidman's radar screen. I'm not sure what our next step is. He did reach out to me, so he was trying to get up to speed, and then he will make some follow-ups and see where that stands. The permit was appealed, so I do know that, because as far as planning board is concerned, we were all served on the planning board appeal from Mr. Winston. And then the applicant can still move forward on when there's an appeal of a planning board permit. They can move forward. They do so at their own peril. So,
Right.
so if the court ruled against them, then they would have to, revert. So I do still think there is an issue with the outdoor fencing and the outdoor parking and the landscaping and such, because it is part of the streetscape.
Right.
So once Mr. Iman gets his head wrapped around it, then hopefully we will see some mitigation or correction over there.
Mhm.
I haven't been by, so I don't know what it looks like presently, to be honest.
Yeah, no, the fence is still there.
All right.
And, the orange stuff is around bushes and, yeah, very
Is any-
unsightly at this point. Not that I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, they really shouldn't without approval from Historic Commission and
Right.
I did talk to Mr. Powell about that, saying that
Yeah.
I thought it should go before the Historic Commission.
Yep. And I think they, I think they're aware of it. Apparently there were some calls made to the building department about it as well. Outside of us. So, so hopefully that will get dealt with soon. Because I'm saying, with respect to thinking back to 711 Main Street, that's the only other construction I can think of that's happened in the historic district recently.
Right.
And they did just have a regular chain link fence, from what I recall, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I think 7-Eleven did have just a chain link fence, but there wasn't anything
Yeah.
attached to it. There wasn't
None of that orange.
no.
No.
And their site was pretty clean while they were building, if I recall.
Yeah, it was
It was-
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they did a very nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of a recent project to compare it to, and that's the only one that I can recall having been done in the last, few
Right.
years. I don't recall another one.
No.
I mean, Harwichport Commons downtown on 28 had a construction fence, but that was chain linked.
Plus, we've just recently learned, because of some things going on in our neighborhood, that if you have a corner lot, if your property's on a corner lot, the fence has to be X number of feet back from the
Right.
street, and it also, as it goes around the corner, has to be less than 6 feet. I think it's 3 or 4 feet. So for
Right.
sight and such. So
I think it has to be 3 feet from the sideline from the layout of the roadway, and I don't think it can be higher than 3 feet
Right.
on those corners for sightline.
right.
Which is why when you're going down the street and you see property with the coming
Where it
receding
slopes
from a
down.
6-foot fence down to a
Right.
3-foot fence, that's the purpose, is to see up and down the street. So,
Oh.
I do think they still need to come back before us, at least for the outside work. But
Absolutely.
as I said, once I have the conversation, and once John Iman got thrown in feet first into the frying pan with starting and having town meeting and jumping in. So I had gotten an email from him last week on it. So I expect he'll have some information soon. I believe the building inspector had spoken with them and started the process.
Okay.
Our letter went out and was certainly received, but certainly didn't prompt any response, other than an acknowledgement of receipt, nothing else. So, so we will continue to follow up on that. Any other reports from commission members?
May I ask a question?
Of course.
So we're watching the selectmen's meeting Monday night, and there's a huge conversation going on with the ADA ramps at the sidewalk thing. And is this our purview at all? I mean, I don't know, because starting to do construction on Main Street in Harwich Center, And I said to Eric, I'm like, this is the historic district, correct? So
Yeah.
I was just curious what's happening there, just out of curiosity.
What I understand is that what's being done or what's being proposed at this point are temporary.
No.
The ADA ramps are not, but and the ADA ramps I don't see. Yes, I would think that they would have come before us. I'm not sure why they didn't. The ADA ramps, I don't know how we could really object to, other than
Oh,
looking
no.
at it has to get done, right?
Right.
My understanding of the other items, to me, didn't sound like they were necessarily. Some of them weren't necessarily permanent. Striping in the street, I don't know what those are going to look like, but I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard of it. It's really not much we can discuss because we didn't agenda it tonight.
Right.
But I'm sure we will be in the future.
Well,
It's just a question I had if it.
Yeah. Hi, Bob.
This is a kind of a tough area for us because I think it is unclear whether we have purview over it. Brooks Park, we had requested when they did the ADA ramp there to do something a little more historical, mainly in color or brick color or something. And we were totally ignored. We had actually issued a directive to that and was totally ignored, and I think kind of was the impression that, well, this is under your jurisdiction, so forget it. Only the buildings are, and the property. So I really don't know. I think we need to go back and look at the way it was set up, but one would assume we do have jurisdiction over sidewalks.
I would think we would, to the extent that it is the streetscape and it's the look and feel of the district. I would think we would have some purview over, possibly getting nicer street lights or more historic
lamp post. Yeah, absolutely.
Doing something like that. I understand there's a lot of, more than a lot of chatter about it at the moment. Like I said, I don't have an agenda for this evening, so I really don't want to go too far afield onto it. But we will, I'm sure, be talking about it at a future meeting with an agenda item. We'll have to see what's coming out and see whether we really do have authority or not. So.
Right. Is there a way to determine from our document whether we do or not, or can we get an interpretation? Ask for a definitive interpretation on this?
Yeah, we would probably need to seek opinion of counsel, and I don't know whether we would have to seek separate counsel versus using our town council. So I can certainly reach out to administration and ask that question for permission to speak to council, or see if they'll just let us know. But
is it appropriate to ask for that as agenda item on the next meeting to state,
for ours or for the selectmen's?
No, for ours.
Yeah, we can try it. I don't know whether we'll get an agenda item back or not. Whether we'll get any information back by then, but we can certainly put it on.
Yeah.
So if we have some information back, then we'll list it. If we don't have any information back before the next meeting, then I won't, because
Right.
no point in beating a dead horse when there's no information to discuss.
Right.
Mary, what about, when I was looking at a lot of the, not competitive analysis, but that's the business term, but I was looking at a lot of the other towns in Massachusetts and in other states to see what their demo delay bylaw was. And in doing that, came across lots of other best practices and such. But it seems to me that many of the towns that have historic districts definitely have and I don't know if it's specific to the town language or if it's something that you go back to historic districting and the National Register and such as to what their expectation is. So I'm not sure just how that all comes together, but I'd be happy to do a little bit of digging between now and June.
Sure, if you would like to, please do. I don't believe it would go back to the National Register. We are a local historic district, so it would be our local bylaw and any state laws that would govern historic districts. So it wouldn't have anything to do with a National Register or National Register district. The only defining enabling legislation for ours is really our town zoning.
So that would definitely make a difference.
So yeah, it would be an interpretation of those and what's been upheld in similar situations and how our language compares to others. So for example, if another town had been challenged on permitting for sidewalks in a historic district, you would have to look and see how our language tied up to and matched up to their language, and whether, if a judge approved theirs, whether ours would then be approved as well.
Yep.
So it's a kind of a nitpicky review on a case-by-case basis, and it's a line-by-line review. I would think of an ordinance or bylaw.
Okay.
Like even if you look at Chatham's historic district and is very different than ours. It's really a historic business district with strict guidelines on certain items. We're working on our guidelines. We're really not a business district in the same sense that they are. We're just strictly a historic district. So
right.
Little things can make a difference. But by all means, if you have time and you would like to dig in, we'll take any information we can get, because the more information we have, the we can provide to council to help.
Yeah.
Anything else as far as reports? I think we can safely report, Bob, that the historic CPC articles all passed at town meeting. There was a couple people spoke against, but town administrator stood up and said, please pass it. So it went through. I don't know that there was any more movement on the cemetery one. Was the only piece I don't recall.
Yeah, that did not, of course, get approved.
Yeah. So there we stand. Any other updates from anyone?
No.
Our next scheduled meeting is for June 16th. So
That's Jean's last one, right?
Yeah.
Jean's last one. Hopefully we'll be in person, Jean. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It would be nice to actually see you in person.
It would be great.
So I think if there's nothing else, we could entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, sorry.
Been made by Bob Jones, seconded by Julie Eldridge. All those in favor? Jean Steiner,
Aye.
Brendan Lowney,
Aye.
Bob Doan,
Aye.
Julie Eldridge,
Aye.
and the chair also votes in the affirmative. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
All right.